What is the origin of the Japanese people? The origins of the Japanese people are not entirely clear, but it is believed that they are descended from a mixture of various groups of migrants from East Asia, including the Ainu people, who are believed to be the original inhabitants of Japan. The main wave of migration is believed to have occurred around 30,000 years ago. The Jomon period, 14,000 BC to 300 BC, is the earliest known period of human habitation in Japan. When did the era of the samurai begin? The samurai were a class of warriors in Japan that existed from the 12th century until the late 19th century. They were known for their strict code of conduct, martial skills, and loyalty to their lords. Samurai were typically members of the nobility and held a significant amount of power and influence in feudal Japan. The samurai class came to prominence during the Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333, when the first shogun, Minamoto no Yoritomo, came to power and established a feudal military government. The samurai were the backbone of the shogun's military power, and their role in government and society continued to expand over time. The first kingdom in the time of the samurai was the Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333, which was ruled by the Kamakura shogunate, a military government led by the shogun Minamoto no Yoritomo. The Kamakura shogunate was the first time that Japan had a centralized government ruled by a military leader, rather than an emperor or court nobles. The shogun held the real power, and the emperor was relegated to a symbolic role. The samurai class played a crucial role in the Kamakura shogunate, as they were the backbone of the shogun's military power. They were tasked with maintaining order and security throughout the country, and they also served as administrators and officials. They were also responsible for the protection of their daimyos and the promotion of his interests. The samurai class also had a significant impact on the culture of Japan during the Kamakura period. Their way of life and their code of conduct, known as Bushido, had a lasting influence on Japanese society. Daimyos were the feudal lords of Japan during the period of samurai rule. The daimyos held significant political and economic power, and they were also responsible for raising and maintaining their own armies of samurai warriors. They were vassals of the shogun, the highest military ruler in Japan, and were bound to him by loyalty and duty. The daimyo were also required to maintain a residence in Edo, Tokyo, and to spend a certain amount of time each year there as a way to ensure their loyalty to the shogunate. They were very powerful and wealthy people. Many of them were able to sustain large retinues of samurai, and they also played important roles in the politics of Japan at the time. A shogun is a military leader in Japan who held the highest military rank during the feudal period of Japan. The term shogun is a combination of two words, shi meaning warrior and ko meaning general or commander. The shogun was the head of the military government known as the shogunate, which held real power while the emperor was reduced to a symbolic figurehead. The shogunate was a military dictatorship, with the shogun being the highest military leader and the de facto ruler of Japan. The shogun had the power to appoint and dismiss daimyos, the lords of the provinces, and also had the power to appoint and dismiss the high officials of the government. The shogun had the power to declare war, and he also had the power to administer justice. The shogunate system was in place in Japan from the Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333, until the Meiji period, 1868 to 1912, and during this time there were many different shoguns who held power. The most famous and powerful shogunates were the Kamakura shogunate and the Tokugawa shogunate, which were the longest lasting and most powerful. After the Meiji period, the shogunate system was abolished, and Japan transitioned to a constitutional monarchy with a government that was based on the Western model. The highest period of the samurai class in Japan was during the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, which was a time of relative peace and stability in Japan. It was a time when the samurai class played a major role in government and society, and their way of life and culture had a strong influence on Japanese society. During the Edo period, Japan was ruled by the Tokugawa shogunate, a military government led by the shogun Tokugawa Ieyasu. Under the Tokugawa shogunate, the samurai class was divided into two main categories: the hatamoto, who were the direct retainers of the shogun, and the daimyos, who were the lords of the provinces. Both groups were powerful and held significant political and economic power. Here is some of the most influential figures of the Edo period. Tokugawa Ieyasu. He was the founder and first shogun of the Tokugawa shogunate, and he played a major role in consolidating power and establishing the political and social order of the Edo period. Honda Tadakatsu. He was one of the four guardian kings of the Tokugawa shogunate and was known for his bravery and skill in battle. Asano Naganori, a daimyo and a key figure of the 47 Roman, whose story is a famous example of samurai loyalty and honor. Sakamoto Ryoma, a key figure in the end of the Edo period. He was a samurai, a prominent figure in the movement to overthrow the shogunate and restore imperial rule, and also a strong advocate of modernization and westernization. These figures played a significant role in shaping the political, social, and cultural landscape of Japan during the Edo period, and their influence can still be felt today. Tokugawa Ieyasu became the leader of Japan during the era of the samurai by a combination of military power, political acumen, and strategic alliances. Ieyasu's rise to power began during the Sengoku period, 1467 to 1603, a time of war and conflict in Japan, when powerful warlords known as daimyos fought for control of the country. In 1600, Ieyasu and his allies faced off against the forces of Ishida Mitsunari in the Battle of Sekigahara. Ieyasu emerged victorious, and this battle effectively ended the Sengoku period and marked the beginning of the Edo period. As a result of his victory, Ieyasu was able to establish the Tokugawa shogunate, a military government led by the shogun. He also implemented a number of policies to strengthen the shogunate, such as the alternate attendance system, which required daimyos to spend alternate years in Edo in their home provinces, which helped to keep them under control. With his powerful army, strategic alliances, and effective policies, Ieyasu was able to establish himself as the undisputed leader of Japan during the era of the samurai, and his descendants would rule Japan for the next 250 years. Thanks for watching. Experience the past like never before. Subscribe to our channel for in-depth tales of historic men.